Hello and welcome to the Thursday Hang. I'm Andrew Wasson. Welcome to the Andrew Wasson YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. This week, I'm going to help you perfect your strum technique by focusing on what it is that the strum hand needs to do for getting the best connection to the guitar strings. You can employ these techniques, get them into your mindset, and start using them. I'm sure in about a minute's time, you're going to find a lot of success with this. But if you practice it and keep it in mind over the course of maybe the next 3 weeks, you will really find a lot of success with it. Now, when we strum, there's actually quite a lot going on, so you need to get good at this stuff to become especially a good rhythm guitar player, but overall a good guitar player in general. Today I have 3 ideas I want you to check out. The number one thing is that you want to pay attention to how you're gripping and holding the guitar pick between your fingers. And the number 2 thing is the quantity of strings that you hit. You have to get good at doing that in order of down and up stroke playing. We're going to give you an exercise for that one. And then number 3, most important, how loud or how soft your strings are getting hit when you play them. In music, and especially in rhythm guitar, we call that dynamics, and you need to perfect that to be a great rhythm guitar player. So let's get things started with the pick grip. Now, when your pick is in your hand, you're generally holding it between the thumb and the index finger. I mean, there are some other ways you might have 2 fingers on there, but I kind of recommend index finger with thumb. And the pick that I like to suggest to my students is a heavier gauge pick, so maybe a medium or a heavy pick in between your fingers there. And when you're gripping at it, you want to have a little lighter grip so that the pick is flexible. If you're holding it too tight, then it's really going to get stiff when you're making those hits at the guitar strings. It might even get hung up on strings and cause you flaws with different faster rhythms like 16th notes. So a lighter grip so that it's flexible between your fingers. Of course, you don't want to drop it, but you want that lighter grip so that it's more flexible between your fingers. Then when you need more loudness, and we're going to talk about dynamics coming up soon, but when you need more loudness out of your playing, you can grip it tighter, and that way when you hit the strings, you're going to get a lot more dynamic effect, but we're going to discuss that in a moment. Let's get on to the second point that's really important here, and I'm going to get into the guitar strings to show this one to you. Now we're going to take an E chord, but we're going to do it in a couple different ways. We're going to do one of them right here, and then we're going to do another one on the upper 3 strings. So the triad up here is going to be just top 3, and then down here we're going to focus on basically the lower 3, but it's okay if you come along and I accidentally hit that 3rd string, that's going to be fine. So what we're going to be doing is working out some strum movements, and we're going to take a different approach with moving between each of these chord shapes. So the first chord shape that we're going to focus on is the one here on the lower string, and the strum action that we're going to be doing is down, up, and down. Just like that. Down, up, and down. Then when we go over here, we're going to do something different. Well, it's close, but it is different. It's going to be down, up, and then up. So again, down, up, and then up. So what we're doing is we're changing our strum order, and we're changing how many string sets that we're hitting at. And this is a fantastic exercise. You just come up with one rhythm structure, and then you apply the chord breakdowns with triads off of lower 3 strings and upper 3 strings. And then just put it into a loop and practice it for maybe about 30 seconds or so. You don't have to do it for a long time. The loop would just simply go like this. Remember the strum order, down, up, and down. Again, down, up, but this time up. All right, so change that order, and that's the exercise. Do you notice how careful that I'm being to just hitting the group of strings that I want? And one of the first really good teachers I had when I was younger had taught this to me about how important it is to isolate the string sets into like the 3 lower strings and then the 3 higher strings, and practice strumming patterns on just those 3 groups. And what it does is it helps you control how your pick motion is strumming at the guitar strings, and it gives you a more balance, I guess you could say, of the tone coming out of the guitar, because sometimes you want that rhythm guitar part to sound a little warmer, so you can go into the lower strings for that, and then sometimes you want it to be higher. Like you can even do this with a bar chord. I could go and play an A major bar chord if I wanted to, and I could just isolate it on the low and high strings. Notice that I'm going low strings and then high strings. I'm keeping the same strum orientation of the down and ups and everything, but this is fantastic work. If you've never done this, it helps get your mind into a higher sense and a higher level of control with your strumming, and it can really help you, of course, at isolating certain string sets. Now, of course, you can take it a step further, and you could go into other 3-string set groups. Maybe you could try to isolate 5th, 4th, and 3rd, or maybe 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. You know what I mean? You can really isolate a lot. Fantastic exercise, really good for you. Now, the last exercise I have is all about dynamics. Now, a lot of times when I say the word dynamics, people don't really know what that means. It simply just means how loud or how soft you are actually playing. Now, you probably seen that before in charts. Maybe if you played a different instrument, like maybe if you played trumpet or violin, viola, piano, you probably saw those forte, mezzo forte. Those are the symbols that you have for different types of dynamics and movements. If you see a P, that indicates a softer sound, a softer dynamic. If you see an F, then that means to go louder. So if I were to take a chord like a basic old E major here, and I were to strum across the strings and just really perfect a light, soft strum so that it is not very loud, and then I did it again, but I made it louder. So you're controlling the volume of the sound that's coming out of the guitar. So you have a softer effect out of the chord, let's say, and then you can have a louder effect out of it. So again, softer effect, it's a more gentle hit, and then louder. So you may think what I'm doing is I'm just putting more force on the hand, but I'm actually not doing that. How I'm getting the loudness or the softness takes us all the way full circle back to what we started talking about when we began today. The pick grip, how you're gripping it. If I want it to be a soft strum, that pick's pretty loose between my 2 fingers there. But if I want that strum to sound louder, I'm going to grip down more on that pick. Pick's stiffer between the 2 fingers, and then I'm getting that louder sound. So this is what I mean. All these concepts, they go hand in hand. They operate, as one big unit in the end. So it's all one big ball of wax, but you've got to understand each of these components because they really fill up everything in between to make you the best rhythm guitar player that you could possibly be. Now, for some people, they need extra help with this stuff. I highly recommend a couple things that you could do. Number one, grab my Handouts Collection ebook. It's at the donation link you'll see at the bottom of the screen. It's only $5 or $10 donation you can make on the site. I know a lot of you give $25 and even $50, so thank you so much for your support. But all you need to do, make a small donation, get that 100-page ebook. It builds a fantastic foundation for you as a guitar player. I've used it with hundreds and hundreds of my own personal students. As they would come in for the first month or so, I would just go through that ebook with them. I'd print it out, of course, and we'd go through it. It's super, super helpful. Another thing that I'd highly recommend is checking out my Patreon page. I've got so much stuff. In fact, this lesson will be on my Patreon, and it's 100% free. You can download the Patreon handout lesson pack for this. Everything's free. Head on over there at the link at the bottom of the screen so you can check that out. But also, if you really want to build your skills and your chops up to the next level, check out my website. It's at creativeguitarstudio.com. That's where all my courses are. My beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses will really build your skills up to the next level. And then all the electives that go hand in hand with that, like acoustic guitar. There's a rhythm guitar program, of course, you could do. Guitar technique, guitar soloing. There's a songs course. There's a riffs program. Guys, you got to go check it out. The address of my website, again, is creativeguitarstudio.com. One more time, to get the handout for this, head on over to my Patreon at patreon.com/Creative Guitar Studio. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week for another edition of the Thursday Hang. With a free membership, you'll be able to access all the free lesson material, including a collection of 6 years of YouTube archives, where there are hundreds of videos, PDF handouts, and MP3 jam tracks. Plus, with a free membership, you'll gain access to the Quick Licks program, a 30-lesson course covering guitar licks in all playing styles across all types of scales and arpeggios. When you sign up for a paid membership, you'll get access to my core curriculum, including my beginner, intermediate, and advanced guitar programs. Plus, there's also my elective courses on the site, like acoustic guitar, guitar technique, guitar soloing, ear training, music reading, and many others. Go check it out. You're going to love it. The website is creativeguitarstudio.com.